everybody, and welcome to another episode of Performer Talk with me, your host Simon South. And obviously this week we're going to be talking about something rather fun and interesting, and that is putting you inside your creation. So let's get to it. So how do we go about putting you inside what it is that you create as a performer? Now, it can be quite difficult to figure out what it is that you want to do. However, a lot of people recommend that you should take advice from things that you see around you. So for instance, if you really love horror films, maybe take a story from a horror film and try and transform that into a piece of art. A load of burlesque performers do this, where they see a piece that influences them and then they create a dance performance piece to go along with it. I've seen ones, for example, like a Ghostbusters one and a Tiger one, and like loads of different influences on burlesque performers. And so when it comes to creating your own act, find something that you really like and try and put that in. I'm working on a piece at the moment which is film noir based. I quite like the idea of a film noir thing. Now, this didn't necessarily come from being a massive fan of film noir. However, it came from being a fan of Gotham. So the series Gotham, because of the way that it's set, the way that it's filmed. I'm a massive Batman fan. So because of the way that it was all set out and laid out, and because of the era in which it's meant to be, that has influenced my choice to do this sort of film noir-ish piece. So it doesn't have to come from a direct source. You don't have to think, oh, I really like this book, and so I will then take this book and literally turn it into a juggling act. You don't have to do that at all. But this could result with anything. So if you are a massive fan of a band, for example, then you could try and use their music in your work. So if you loved The Killers, you might want to do a hula hoop routine to When You Were Young, for instance. Obviously making sure that all copyrights and stuff like that were okay. But yeah, so there's another angle you can go down. Also, just little things can spark off ideas. I know when I was working in Spain in Salou, myself and another magician, Liam Devine, were discussing weird and bizarre ways to make a card appear somewhere. And Liam gave the idea to make a card appear inside a candle. So because of that, I now have a trick where a card can appear inside a candle. Talking with your fellow peers can help to create little things. But of course, it's all about you at the end of the day. It's about what you like, what you enjoy. It really is quite difficult at first. I know because I've tried it. I heard so many people throughout all the time I've been in magic going, oh, if you want to make something your own, then take something that you really like and then put... It can be quite difficult, especially at first, because you're not quite sure how to do it. So a good example would be, for instance, my book test routine that I do in magic. Now, for those that don't know, a book test essentially is someone thinks of a word in a book and you tell them what the word is. That's it, essentially. What I decided to do was, I love the Hunger Games. So, do a book test with the Hunger Games. And because I had this idea, I could then change and adjust little things in there. So for instance, my book test, one of the books catches fire because one of the books in the Hunger Games is called Catching Fire. So I open it up, and as soon as I open it up, it goes up in flames. And that just came from thinking, how could I make this more magical for me? It doesn't have to necessarily be a complete and utter rip-off of another creative perspective. For instance, another magician, Francis Minotti, he does a wonderful routine where he basically does a tableau of a lot of his favourite pieces of artwork whilst performing magic. One I specifically remember is when he has the apple and the bowler hat. And because he made the apple appear and then he's wearing a bowler hat. And that is obviously a reference to that really famous piece of artwork that I can't remember the name of right now. However, there is also other parts in his routine because he is a massive fan of abstract art. So there's a lobster that's a phone, and that's a reference to the piece of artwork where a lobster is a phone. You see, it doesn't have to scream out to your audience, "This is referencing something, please pay attention to it!" But it's just putting you inside what it is that you do creatively. What we'll also do is we will take a step further with this in another video and discuss how we can sit down and actually write down little bits and pieces and then connect them with what it is that we might want to do. But I think this is a nice sort of starting block in trying to get us to be a bit more creative and a bit more to think inside ourselves about what it is that we can do to be able to bring it out and to perform for people. Because at the end of the day, you are not just another performer. You know, you are not a copy of someone that you have seen, unless, of course, that is your whole thing. If you're a tribute act, go for it. You be the best tribute act that you can be. If you want to be original, even if the trick or whatever it is that you are doing, the song, even if that in itself is not original. If, for instance, if you're a magician and you want to do the ambitious card trick. For those that don't know, essentially, the card goes in the middle of the deck and it pops up to the top. Over and 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 over. Yeah, that's essentially the trick. But there are loads of magicians that do that trick. I do that trick, trying to figure out a way to make it work for you. You cannot just take something and go, "Oh, that's amazing," and ram it into your set like a ramming thing. It won't work because it's not you. You need to take what you like about that, analyse it a little bit, and then adjust it to what it is that you really love. If you're really into fashion, you might decide to wear a really fancy outfit, and maybe the tricks happen because of what you're wearing. Maybe there is a thread loose on your jacket, and then you do a trick with the thread, and then you're wearing a pocket watch, and then something happens magically with the pocket watch. It's all in theme. And they might not get, the audience might not understand that it's all to do with fashion, but they'll understand that there is a theme that runs through it to some degree. And I think that's a really important thing to have. It is something that I have learned over the years. It's not something that came naturally to me at all, but it's something that I've picked up over the years and years and years of doing this, to have a theme that runs through. And that theme can be your favourite creative project. It can be whatever it is that you love. If you adore books, then you go and you do tricks to do with books. If you love music, you go and do tricks to do with music. But that's the whole point. The whole point is to do things that you love. And that will help you put you into your art. Now guys, that's it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this channel does actually help you out and give you a little bit of motivation and happiness about what it is that you do. And obviously this is being filmed through COVID, so it's a bit of a, but still there's plenty of time to sit down and think about what it is that you want to do. Think about what it is that you want to create. We aren't necessarily on a timeline here. There isn't a deadline that we need to reach, so we can push the boat out and create whatever it is that we want, which is amazing. We get the opportunity to actually sit down and make the really difficult thing happen that we've not had time to work on before. So that's why this time is brilliant, even though it's horrible in so many other ways. But that's it for me for today, everyone. Now, wherever you are in the world, remember to have a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really does help, and it means a lot to me when people do subscribe to the channel and give it a little like, a little thumbs up. It's amazing when I see those little thumbs up pop up and it's like, oh, I'm making good content, yay! So yeah, it really does mean the world to me. So thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you all so much, and I will see you then. See you later.